Okay, everyone, it is 8:47, so I call the meeting back to order. So the email is currently in email space being sent over to Patty. For now, is there any other discussion? This is the language with the citations and then it's being sent over. So is there any discussion regarding the language in its entirety? Zach?
I would actually like to add one more. Let it be resolved. I think it's good practice, especially given criticism of resolutions as a practice, to have one component of the resolution cite specific action and at least sort of give some general sense of a plan. And so something to the effect of right before the last, therefore let it be resolved. Let it be resolved that the council acts to the council participate in the actualization of the student advisor position via social media campaigns, via advocacy to the regents, and this is a very exciting. It doesn't look like it because there's a lot of legal names and everything, but it's a very exciting resolution, and it points to an effort that's going to be very. It's going to be a cornerstone of student governments across the state for the next couple of years if it succeeds in perpetuity. And so I think it's important that we recognize that this is going to be a council-wide effort, and that having an undervoted student region would be a huge step. And if it gets to the point where this becomes a state constitutional amendment on the ballot, this is going to require full scale effort, not just from us in our offices, but from students across the state. That makes us, as leaders who pass this resolution, that makes us also effort as it becomes more serious, and for us to put the effort in place where it is serious enough to do. So I think that it's important to add something that clarifies that we're taking action on this, and actually for us all to take action on it.
So Zach, maybe can you write the language of your action item?
Yeah.
This is the version with the citations on it. Oh yeah?
So kind of going along with that action item, I feel this is something that we would be interested to add that we as like USAC and UCLA graduate body expect this student to also be held accountable to also this and present us as a transparency.
I think that's fine. I just think it's because I think the salmon is really important. I just think you call it yes. I think
I'll call you now. You just
go
ahead.
Okay. Well, I think it is potentially just a redundancy because it does say here explicitly that UCSA appoints this person and they are accountable to students, and by virtue of that accountability, they should also expect to be transparent, et cetera. But it's not that it would particularly hurt to say explicitly either. It's just
I agree with Zach. Although I think adding those specific words wouldn't take away from Bill at all or anything. But I do agree. I think the virtue of the position is for transparency. Right now, it is absolutely outrageous that we have one person with a vote representing 250,000 UC students. My experience at UCLA is going to be very different from the experience at another UC campus. My experience is going to be very different from a person who's in a professional school. It is absolutely outrageous that in 40 years, students haven't had any more voice than we had in 1975. And I also think it's very appropriate that it is just 15 years approaching the 40th anniversary. But even at the steps they're taking now, we should continuously always be pressuring the regions to get more student voice on it. I mean, we do have these committees as well that are sent out. I believe I sent them out to you all about 3 or 4 weeks ago through UCOP to represent New York administrators on UCOP as well as some of the regions. It's always been a critique that the regions are very inaccessible. Most of them are not educators. Most of them are career, businessmen, politicians that might not necessarily have the best interests of students in mind. I'm sure a lot of you have noticed that yourselves. When I attended the Regent meeting in September to talk about the statement of principles, it was one of the first times I think they've ever actually listened to the students in the room. Usually you're in there and you have these objectives, and so it's outrageous that you just have 2 people sitting there. So I think it's really important that we as UCLA fully get behind this, and if we decided to go for a constitutional amendment, that we're there to support, because we should be always getting more student voices on something like this, because I personally don't trust all the regions to represent every single experience, and neither do I trust just 2 student regions, and one region and one doesn't. So that's why I was more than enthusiastic to sign on to this bill, because it is something we should continuously pushing for in all forums, not even just the regions, administration, at all times. We should be incorporating student voice as much as possible. Zach, did you have the language more so that you were looking to do?
Yeah, I want to add one little bit about the
Does anyone else have any points regarding this? Sandy?
Just on the language of the actual content.
I did.
Just like a point, maybe it was explained in the resolution that I missed it, but since this is like, it's supposed to be like the same as the student region, but it doesn't have a vote. How is it gonna be like financially like have resources to make sure that it can effectively like represent students and like act on behalf of like the UC students and that they can do their job to full? Because I know I don't know the specifics of the student region, but I know they have their own budget that provided by the UC system. But I just wanted to know how is it going to be to make sure they can do their job?
Right. So from what I know, Student Region Audio Club has met with most of the student regions to discuss the opportunity of this. As well, we always talk about administrative overload. The regions, the board of regents specifically, do have quite some money, as well as UCOP. And so I believe he's also talked to President Napolitano about this as well. Shakes yes. Shakes yes. And they were in support. Correct? In support. And so that proves that there is this possibility of doing this, and that there is the funding available. And if anything, if there is some sort of backlash or something, then we need to be there to defend it. We need to be at the front of it. We should call them out, but the reason they won't provide some financial assistance for someone to get initiatives done, then I think that says a lot about the regents, and that says a lot about what students should be saying as a priority. Funding something like this should be a priority, because it is getting the student voice incorporated into the board.
Yeah, I think just one last thing. I think you exactly expressed what I was going. Was I am 100% in support of this, and I think it's a great step in a direction to create more student representation at the regions and transparency. But making sure that we can hold the regions accountable that is going to be able to operate is something that's very important, and you address that.
Thank you. So Zach, have you finished your?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Let it be resolved that the Undergraduate Students Association Council of the University of California, Los Angeles take action to realize this effort, to lead and participate in media campaigns, to advocate the creation of a student advisor petition in the regions directly, and the USAC itself diligently and meticulously campaign to pass the state constitutional amendment reporting students from the voting student.
And then what is the line underneath it, just so we can see it the context of the entire thing?
Therefore, let it be resolved the Undergraduate Students Association Council of the University of California, Los Angeles instructs regents to approve student advisor measure without delay, and advises all students to support their support in favor of said resolution.
Okay. Audience?
Yeah.
Just some minor grammar error, this is kind of a memo, but so the Undergraduate Students Association Council of the University of California, we have put USAC after that entire title, so I think just put in USAC and USAC to be more consistent. Also, I think it'd be much more concise to just take out itself, and we just say that we're city campaigns to pass the state constitutional amendment. And then, yeah, I think that's it.
Our resident English.
No,
Okay, so do you see what it is, Zach? So USAC, that USAC diligently and meticulously supports USAC. Okay.
campaigns.
Just
Campaigns, just before. With an S. anything?
No.
Okay. Is there any other discussion regarding the resolution, content, language? I can also entertain a motion at any time.
I motion to approve the resolution as part of the UC Board of Regents student advisor proposal. Did I say something?
So you moved.
I move to approve the resolution in support of the UC Board of Regents student advisor proposal.
Great. Second, seconded by Heather. All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Those against and those that abstain. All right, to a unanimous 11-0-0 vote, a resolution in support of the UC Board of Regents student advisor proposal has been approved. Hope everyone's fine. I'm sure there's a picture.
Oh yeah, can I take I'm so proud. So proud. Wait. They're right there.
Okay, we're on professionalism. We'll take a selfie, Audie.
Oh, a selfie?
Don't you selfie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait. How do you do this? I sure do. No, I know this way too many times before. Okay. Sure, I know this. Oh wait, how do you get it? Oh, how do you get it? Is everybody in it?
Yeah.
Yay! Selfie, we got it.
Okay, moving back to our meeting. We'll go on to new business, part C, cultural appropriation and perpetuation of racism at UCLA. So Trent and Amy, I'll pass the conversation on to you all. What Amy start, you want to go ahead and kind of talk about what you've been doing and what you're looking for in the discussion of it.
So just to preface the discussion, basically, given the events that had happened last Tuesday evening at Sigma Phi Epsilon in relation with Alpha Phi, it was just very disheartening to see that that's still happening on this campus, and that this is a continual issue that continuously occurs on this campus, and the fact that people do not recognize that every single day people are triggered by cultural ignorance and cultural appropriation on this campus, and it doesn't take an action to realize that. But when ASU did go through with their action, there were a lot of commentary in terms of what was the Cultural Affairs Commission going to do. And now I just want to presently say that right now, out of respect for the African Student Union, the Cultural Affairs Commission has taken a backseat and is waiting on the African Student Union to essentially cue us into what they want us to do. That being said, on last Wednesday at the Word on Wednesday, there was a break in between the performances where my Word directors decided that it was appropriate to open up the space, since it was a safe space, for students within the space to express and discuss openly what had happened on that Tuesday evening and beyond. The Cultural Affairs Commission is also working towards culture talks. Ironically, in the winter quarter, the whole quarter we're breaking down what is cultural appropriation and what is cultural ignorance. Essentially, we're hoping to accumulate into a TEDx at the end of the year during the spring quarter, and that's currently developing with ORL. I haven't really updated on that because I don't want to get anyone's hopes up until things are solidified. But besides that, personally speaking, I've been able to speak out on it. But whenever I speak out on it, it has been more so not as I'm coming from a position as a commissioner, but more so how I feel about the appropriation that occurs on this campus. And the fact that I've said it before twice already, I want to say it again. It's the idea that a lot of people on this campus are going to think you're attacking Pan-Hellenic, you're attacking Greek life, and for me, it's not even about that. It's not about what organization you associate yourself with, but I do care about the actions that you commit when you are within those organizations. Respectively so, it's if someone within the Cultural Affairs Commission were to do something like that or had attended an event like that, there would be a serious discussion between me and that member in terms of why were you present within that space and what said to you that it was okay to partake in those actions. And it's also important to address the fact that Kanye Western, if you think of Kanye West, he wears, nice kicks, white t-shirts that cost too much money, and it's the idea that these students at the end of the day didn't target, Kanye West as a celebrity. They more so targeted his race. And that's when the issue comes in. You can by all means talk about Kanye West as a celebrity, but at the end of the day you want to capitalize on his race. That's when the lines start to become very blurry, and that's when cultural appropriation comes in. So that's essentially, I'm going to pass the mic to Trent because I want him to be able to also voice because I could go on for days about this. But yeah.
Thank you, Amy, for voicing that. I think that's very valuable, kind of a perspective to bring to the table, as well as valid points to bring up. And for me, kind of taking a step back, and when I heard about what happened, I was in an education studies class, and I looked around at my class, and it's like, something like this again. And this is something I really want to emphasize tonight, to open up for a discussion for all of us as a council, and this is, to me, maybe something us as a council can jointly work on. I know last year was the All of Us campaign, but maybe this year this is what council really focuses in on, which is us upholding our true Brilliant values, and really ensuring that we are honest with one another, but at the same time respectful. We come at different topics on campus and we treat each other with the utmost respect. Because literally, stemming back from 2011, there has been incidents on this campus specifically addressing people of different race. Okay, we've had the Alexandra Wallace video, we've had the VSU A-Board being vandalized, we have had the Asian American Studies, we've had the ASU incident with the stickers last year. We have an incident this year with ASU. Here it's already third week, and we've already had an incident. This is a recurring thing on this campus, which is extremely unfortunate, given that, to be completely honest, of our atmosphere and environment, UCLA, to me, is one of the most liberal colleges in the nation, and it's happening here. I think that speaks for something really deeper in terms of society, but let's figure out a way to come together and really address this head on. Literally, I look at this, it's completely unfortunate what ended up happening, but let's try and learn from it and make sure that this never happens again. Literally. To me, I don't understand how this gets brought up every single year. Some type of issue, some type of event concerning race on this campus that negatively impacts certain buildings. It's absurd, and even to this day, I still can't get over it. And so, please, I would love to hear everyone else. I know we've worked on the diversity requirement. Thankfully, it's passed, but to me, it's only being implemented now for incoming freshmen. It's going to take another year for transfer students, so it's going to be a while. But even when it, a lot of times when I was advocating for the diversity requirement, I question, would this really help? And I feel like as a council, maybe we can put on programming events, really ensure that we're holding the student body accountable, and that we can really essentially move past this and learn from this, and ensure that everyone is, to me, culturally competent on this campus, and cognizant of the different privileges that they're afforded.
Anyone else? Amy, say something before this discussion.
This is just stemming from my conversations with ASU, and I have told Heather this as well. although we are USAC, we do have to be cognizant that we do need to take a back seat right now and not overstep our boundaries and essentially grab their narratives and run. Because right now ASC is trying to figure out their plan of action and how they want to address what's going on. And so, as I mentioned before, as much as CAC is seen as, the cultural organization on campus as supposed to be a, first responder, the reason why we've taken a back seat is to ensure that we don't step on anyone's toes, and especially that we don't silence anyone's narratives in our, even if our intentions are well to, address this issue, we also have to recognize that sometimes it might seem as overpowering as opposed to helpful.
I think that there's a huge lack of cultural sensitivity in this campus. People, if they address that it wasn't their intention to do so, it comes up. And even if that sense of ignorance is the reason why all of this perpetuation, racism, sexism, misogyny, everything keeps happening on this campus. That people aren't culturally aware of how relevant it is just to I will never understand what it means to be black. I will never understand what it means to be a person who's black on UCLA, on this campus. The best thing I can do is strive to be a strong ally for the community, understand the struggle, and try to educate myself for it. However, that is dependent on every person on UCLA if they're willing to learn and if they're willing to accept their own ignorance, because accepting the fact that you don't know something is not a sign of weakness, it's just a matter of you showing that you want to learn. It really depends on the person, because I don't see the fact that this is going to be completely alleviated if people don't really put in the time and effort to learn how to be strong. But that's my view.
Yeah, I also think we need to remember that our students come here with baggage, right? And they're going to make mistakes, and they're going to make, that's not to excuse what happened to you before. But to have these standards that once they step on campus, this should never happen again, I think it's unrealistic. So I think that we need to take a few steps back and really think about how can we implement mechanisms to educate them the moment they step on campus so they leave. So the goal should be, once you leave UCLA, you should understand that these things are not right, that these actions harm our community. So while they're here, well, we are here, this is a process, and we should learn it while we're here, right? And so I think what we should start thinking about is, and besides reacting, we need to start preventing. And so we change our mindset to prevention instead of reaction. I think instead of waiting until something like this occurs, we need to start thinking about what can we put in place now. Halloween's coming. It's going to happen again, right? It's going to happen again. So right now, knowing that's coming, what are you going to do, right? So challenge each other to work together. Write a co-op, write an editorial, have a campaign, right? Do something from now until then, and then continue it. So think preventative, not reactionary. I feel like, and thank you for bringing up all those instances that happened for 2011 and before that, because unfortunately what we've seen since 2011 is a lot of our action have been reactionary. They have been putting positive actions to make sure that we're properly educating, making sure that there's an actual coalition of students, or actually counting the well-being of others. That there isn't a double standard with some students to make sure that administration is also treating everyone fairly. And along with education, I think it's important to remember that a lot of these cultural organizations do play a lot of their part in educating their own communities as well as others. These outlets and resources are available. And I personally feel like as a Bruin, everyone here is at an incredibly high rank. It's just really I will hold them to that regard, that if these resources are made available to you, you should be able to reach out and get them for yourself. Because it's not the job of the community to educate you. It is your job to make sure that we're making these resources available to yourself. And I feel like it's our job as council to make sure that there is one coalition of experience, figuring out why these students aren't, trying to and kind of how we want to learn and actually respond to what's happened. Also, furthermore, I just want to point out that, like the next I mentioned, they're horrible, but for a lot of students, this is a daily thing. They go through that has been normalized on this campus because it happens so often that they don't think it's important enough to let you know. And it goes into Jared's mom's, the bias and also important for us to remember that these students are very people when they come to that age, they have their own areas, and it's our job to reach out to them and learn about those and learn about these communities, learn about what they belong to, because it's a cycle. It's historically perpetuated over and over and over again, and you have to so we're
I just want to insert and say I think one really great way for us to start is, as Abu had said, the UC Regents are going to be here on October 26th with the statement principles. This is a great way for us to talk about what we want to see from the UC region level, whether that be a system by which administration needs to respond to acts of discrimination and hatred on campus, and see a consistent level, because oftentimes we see our administrators not having the same moral consistency as they do from one event to another. Excuse me. And so I think this is a really great way for us to all be present in a conversation and see what we'd like to see out of a statement like this. It's a way to hold our students accountable and to be responsible and to make smart, responsible, respectful decisions. So I think it's really important if all of us could attend for at least a little part of it, as well as encourage student leaders around campus to go and to make sure that the Berlin experience is heard while the UC Regents are drafting this resolution, this new statement of rules. Is there any other discussion? Ian?
Yeah, I just want to say I agree with a lot of what's been said. I think that I've really been struggling the last couple of days just about, how we really can come together and not respond to this, but actually make a change happen, because I'm so tired. I think every single time this happened, the past days on this campus, it's been the same exact rhetoric and the same exact reaction to the situation that never really seems to make an impact. So I've really been thinking, how do we actually make a meaningful impact on our campus in this regard? And I don't have an answer. So that's really why I think this dialogue needs to continue, because these things will keep happening regardless of whether we react to them or not. So I think we do need to be more proactive. So I'm really excited to learn about how we can do that instead of just sort of having the same something like this happens. We talk about how unfortunate it is that it happens again.
Like Amy and then Jamie. Whatever works for you.
I would just say, just like as council members though, yes, we come here every Tuesday night and we're council members, and then when we leave, we're in our offices, but also recognize that our identities are inherently political as well, and that you are also students on this campus that go to class, that go to events in itself, and you do have friends that you talk to, and you're going to see things that are problematic in itself, and just as what Ian just said, not being reactionary but being proactive about it. We all have a duty in ourselves to make sure that every single day if you even come across your best friend who's being problematic, to essentially call them out on it, because that's where it's going to start. It's going to start where someone close to you is going to hear it from you, hey, that's not cool. That's when it's going to start clicking. It's not going to click if we put an event on. It's not going to click if people go to a couple events. It has to be someone close by that's going to check themselves. And so I'm just saying this as like a personal level and not more so this is an office that we take. Just start checking your friends and start calling people out. We call each other out all the time at this table. I'm sure we can do it to our friends. So I think yeah.
Thank you for bringing up that point, Amy. I feel like, for me in this whole situation, just in general, like on campus, when you see other people hurting, or just feel like, they're not, they feel uncomfortable, they feel sad, like you see this emotion, on social media, the person, the rally, or whatever it may be, like, help out your friends. We all go to UCLA. Like you said, we're all students, we're all going to get an education, but when situations for different students get real and they really feel, whatever the consequences of their actions, and they when it comes to the public like this, just be aware, we're all students here. We all, hope to graduate and have successful lives after this, but I think one point that really resonated, like, we make these mistakes, but given that reality, like, people react and they have, and their emotions come to, come to the public. And when we can, be allies and like be there for each other and like really, act in a responsible way as student leaders, but as, just students at the school who, go to class with these people. I think that's really, how we can best behave. So I'm really looking forward to, waiting to see what, students affected by this situation, how they want to proceed, acting as their ally to best serve the students who are affected by the situation so that, we can really become a better campus for, all the students that attend UCLA.
So I think at this point, it would be, my recommendation would be for all of us to pull back and wait and see what that student union chooses to be their action, and then we can come back together and see how we can best support their initiatives. So in the meantime though, like Ian, you're kind of thinking, just brainstorm maybe some ways that you think you can engage students, because that's the trick here, is that these resources are available, and sometimes students don't make the effort to do that. But as council, we do have our own strengths, we do have different groups we're affiliated with, so begin to kind of think of ways that you think would be best to engage students to help out with whatever the African Student Union or any other groups that were affected by this choose to help complement those efforts. Yes.
I really appreciate the comment about bystander intervention and checking your friends and yourself, but also realizing that it's not always easy to check your friends and in certain situations, and learning how to recognize that's a skill. And if you all have each other, then I think you have the sitting around this table, you all represent many communities, and if you can work together to make this work, I think you're setting the best example for the student body. So I challenge you to work together to support each other in checking your colleagues and checking your friends. And if you don't know what to do, I'm hoping that you can create a community here to really support each other through that process and learn.
Thank you so much. Okay, are there any other points of discussion? Yeah,
Just curious, maybe it's me doing it or other results. I know the rally definition used with the least content. Did you ever see on Monday? You know, when things I've been trying to look.
So I briefly ran into Janae Williams today, and it just seems like right now things are shifting and changing. So I think they originally had a deadline, but now they want to meet more and more to really solidify those demands. So I don't think they have a secure date right now, but I should think it should be within like the next week or so. You'll see something.
Okay, we'll go on to, that was our last for new business. We'll go on to announcements then. So just go around the room, so everyone raising hand with the announcements. Yeah?
Two announcements. I'm really excited that my office is going to be working on coming up for the, I know you all know the first private presidential debate going on, and I'm also very involved in the Brewing Democrats, one of the political organizations on campus. But that being said, I'm really looking forward to working with the Brewing Democrats, with the Brewing Republicans to host future debate viewing events on campus for the next Republican, which is on the October 28th, I believe, in the next Democratic debate, which is in early November. And so we're going to be working with them this week to plan out those events with students that can, really get politically acclimated as, the presidential election gets more exciting. And more students want to hopefully, be interested in getting involved in that. And then secondly, this was reported in the Daily Run, but I didn't get a chance to talk about it last week. I'm the on-campus tailgate idea that I've been planning out for over the summer, and since the last week we've been in school. It's been moved to November 21st for the Utah game, and so we're really excited about that. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We have a lot of sponsors that want to get involved. The UCLA Athletics Administration is helping us out, as well as UCLA Recreation. So we're getting a lot of administrative support from this. I'm really excited to get this cool for the student project. So be on the lookout in the next few weeks as that gets underway.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Oh yeah?
Yeah, so last week I had a meeting with Paul Williams, the Executive Director of ASUCLA, on the Transfer Resource Center. I was there with Boy, some leaders of the veteran community as well as some people from the DRC. We talked about possible ways to go about implementing the Transfer Resource Center as soon as possible. Also, last visit we had a mentor training to show the ropes. That was awesome. Nice, thank you for letting us use some paint because all the mentors got to paint their mentees' names on the board, and then yesterday we had to show the ropes mentor mentee reveal, and all the mentors had their boards and they turned them up, revealed the names, and the mentees on the clock found them. So this week is Transfer Pride Week. I became the co-program that had a photo campaign on Food Walk today. There was also a transfer kickoff carnival by the full council. Tomorrow is the commuter breakfast in the DRC, so not only do we have a chance to get free breakfast, but mingle with some commuter transfer students. And then also there's a True Brewing Traditions Challenge Friday, which is also going to be supplemental to Transfer Pride Week. So if you all want to get involved in any of that stuff, just let me know. Thank you.
Any questions? Mark?
Okay, so some updates from Urban Consent Coalition. As you know, this month was Domestic Violence Awareness Month. This week's featured in the Kirkland Art Gallery is the exhibit Kids Will Be Kids, or Kids Should Be Kids, that is focused on child abuse, and there is a trigger warning outside. Also, for this week, they are collaborating with CARE at CAPS to do training. So also market this right now. There's training from 5 to 9 this Tuesday, next Tuesday, so Tuesday. But also there's an abridged version tomorrow from 5:30 to 7:30 for student leaders who can't make the Tuesday one. So if you'd like to be involved with that, I recommend it. Also, there's going to be PPR training on the 21st of October from 5:30 to 7:30. There's also going to be a mental health first aid by CAPS from the 26th to the 28th, all 3 days. And so we just really recommend to all of our directors and all of you as student representatives to be trained to some capacity in terms of mental health and sexual violence. BCC is also doing a self-empowerment workshop on the 19th, which is next Monday. 208. Our Total Wellness Magazine committee has just published volume 15, issue 3, and will be released soon. And then moving on to all of us updates, we really want to thank all of you who participated in Mental Illness Awareness Week. We co-programmed with 4 USAC offices last week, which is really thank you to Aliani, Amy, and I guess. And we really are looking forward to meeting 3 additional offices this week and next week, and we would love to work with any other office that wants to co-program with us, because we still exist because there still is a need to talk about mental health and bring it to various communities that don't already talk about it, and to encourage co-programming. And so please let me know if we can work together. And then finally, this Thursday, we have a town hall, Mental Health Matters Town Hall in Hermosa Room in Carnesville from 6 to 8 on Thursday. And it's just a space where mental health organizations and administrators can come and discuss mental health, because we all talk about it in our own organizations, but there's no cohesion among the mental health organizations. We all have the same questions, we all have the same concerns, but we never come together to talk about it. So that's what we are doing, and Ollie is doing in her office. So I encourage you to come as well. We would love to have you, and this is a place also for you to talk about what you're doing in your offices to encourage discussion on mental health. So thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Announcements? Thank you.
One. So the Arts Restore Community Fund is being really advanced right now. So if anyone asks you what's going on with that fund, it's opening up winter quarter once again. And right now we're taking applications for appointments for the board. Applications will close on Friday at
Okay. So are those funds, are they allocated by quarter or is it yearly? The fund for the fiscal year?
So we go by like quarterly. We're trying to structure it so that it's kind of like I think Patty and I are working on kind of like CSU funding and stuff, and how to do hearings and whatnot. So we're trying to do that structure. Just because last year was our first year, and so we're trying to like change things around so it's more efficient.
Okay. So the funds that would have typically been allocated for fall, the planning groups?
They're all going to be like all the funds like money wise, and it'd be all like allocated for the stakeholders. So like what happened last year. Okay. Really?
Ruby? Yes. So we will be hosting its biannual on-campus Shabbos Fair Wednesday of this week. I've already contacted all the major employers. I was wondering if you all have any other employers in mind who may not be as well known. Let me know so I can contact them.
Questions?
So if you remember my dismay at the submission by the assistant vice chancellor the assistant vice chancellor director for changes to regulations authorities. So I met with him actually and we discussed everything. And our conversation turned into this beautiful collaboration that we're going to facilitate a workshop this Friday at DSO on sexual subversion. It is open to the entire community, so it's not just targeted for leagues. It is for the entire community. It'll be at 10 a.m. And the title of this workshop is How to Live Without Usually Live. So he'll provide his administrative perspective on how persons can report to him about anything that goes on. I will provide my own personal experience, and then we will also, I've seen a forensic coalition as well, and they've been gracious enough to provide all the resources it needs to still data, how people can go about talking about prevention and being more aware about the reality of the situation.
Yeah. Any questions?
I do recommend too that you have like a CAP counselor there or some sort of space that they can go into if they are.
During the Kaizen Coalition is there,
I mean,
is there like a room?
Yeah, I was gonna say they're working with.
So if anyone's triggered, please go out.
Any questions? Yeah, so we had our event last week with all of us. It was actually the same for the company right now. I have all the information to okay. They went really, really well. Turnout. There were a lot of people who felt comfortable enough to share personal information that they wanted to share before. That was, essentially what we should be like, how we're really organically that allows them to feel comfortable. So because of the really positive, as we're actually trying to make a regular thing, so we want to focus in other offices as well if you're interested. That's one of the ideas that we are just come up with is having a space that serves people where they touch their topics, but still need their so, for example, a lot of individuals from like brown families or immigrant families or even just like mental health student activists on those marginalized communities that often don't have access to resources that really has to. So I'm really excited about that. Anytime at our retreat, it was so great. I'll share more about that during the call there. And otherwise, I got in touch with the coalition and work forward in making the technology for change in the market moving around domestic violence and color. But we want to really do great initiatives. I started talking to organizations a little bit between worlds that serves as a safety and as a healing resource for women, especially immigrant women, both relationships. To use art as a healing resource for them, and also have providers for the resources.
Any questions? Okay.
The Student of Color Conference application has closed, and we have over 350 applicants. And we have enough money to at least take 90 of those. It would be incredibly difficult to narrow down to what I've seen this week. And really phenomenal applicants who are trying to secure additional funding. In any way we can to see if we can take more. Either way, we will have a very strong presence in the Student of Color Conference. I can't properly express my excitement at how many different communities have come together to this and the friends UCLA is going to have these days today. So thank you all for sharing the application, getting out the word, clearly worked. That's all I got.
Any questions? Whoever knows it, knows it.
Alright, so I have two announcements. One of them being that Day of Soul is this Friday, and IVP and Community Service Commission will be working to host table talks. That will be at 1:00 p.m., 1 to 1:50 in Ackerman Grand Ballroom. And it will be a place where student organizations can get resources and discuss their their whole process of being an organization, share their stories, what works, what doesn't, and hopefully have best practices for those student organizations to implement later on this year. Campus Safety Week is also next week, and so I just want to give you a rundown of what we have going on. So Monday will be a resource fair, and will be 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. in Broome Plaza. We will have resources from all pockets of campus out there, so I'm really looking forward to it. Stop on by. Also, this is a co-program between SWC and facilities and everyone else, all the different committees within SWC. Tuesday, we're going to have Pizza with Police, which will serve as an open forum for students all across campus to come and talk about their issues that they have with safety and security on this campus. I wanted to change the format of that open forum. Last year I had, I think, two open forums, and I thought that they were really good. I thought the discussion was great, but I want to have breakout sessions within the forum. So I think that what we're going to do is have one discussion focusing on crime prevention and personal safety, one on campus climate issues, and one on off-campus safety. And so we're going to have different specialists within the police department at these different discussions, and then we will reconvene and share what was discussed in each of those sections. So I really encourage all of you to share with your different networks this opportunity. The chief of police will be there, Nancy will be there, and Eric Rakowski. He's great. I'm sure he's a familiar face to a lot of you. He's everywhere, and so and there will be other officers there as well. So please share with your networks that information, and I'll send you the graphics so that you don't have to memorize like logistics and stuff. And then on Wednesday we will be having a Know Your Rights forum where people will be able to. We're hopefully getting a speaker from ACLU. Nancy is hooking it up, so so we're waiting for confirmation on that. So I will send you out details regarding that. We'll also be having a blood drive on the Hill that day. I will send out the location later. Thursday will be the Hunting Ground screening in the Northwest Auditorium. Entrance will start at 5:30 p.m. and then the film will start right at 6 p.m. followed by a panel discussion afterwards. We're going to have Kathleen, who's the Title IX officer, Victoria Molina, who's the care advocate officer. We're going to have someone from Dean of Students, maybe Deb or Maria there. And then we're also going to have either Ishani or Chrissy from Bruin Consent Coalition. So please share that with your networks as well. The film is very powerful, and I really am looking forward to the discussion afterwards as well. And then throughout the entire week, I forgot one more thing. There's going to be a UCPD tour from 10:30 to 12:30 p.m. On Thursday, so that'll kind of be like a UCPD open house. Anyone that wants to go check out the UCPD facility is able to at that time. And then we're going to be having a blood drive throughout the entire week. The blood bank is really depleted from blood, and there's organ transplants that happen literally every single day at Ronald Reagan, and they're having to find other resources to find blood for all of these transfusions. So we are helping out with that. Please, if you are able to donate. I know Trent got a little squeamish. I know it's scary, But if you can, you're able and willing, please do it. That's all for me.
Any questions? I remember attending the open forum last year. There was a big discussion around racial profiling at the campus and the fact that there was a lack of a screening process for police officers to go through. I don't know if you would have any updates on that or additional content.
My last conversation with Nancy regarding that was that they were updating their diversity sensitivity training. And so I can follow up with her about that and see what is actually being implemented and what changes have been made. Yeah.
Any questions?
Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead and pass around the signing of the attendance sheet, and then I can entertain a motion to adjourn. Zach?
I move to adjourn.
Is there a second? Second by Trent. All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Those against and those abstaining. All right, at 9:37, we adjourn the meeting. Ian, if you turn off the USAC live, please.